What's up, everybody? It's Jason, and you've got the touch, and some of you might even have the power. So I thought I'd go live for a few minutes. Maybe some people pop on. I know it's not the ideal time to go live. It's a Tuesday evening on Valentine's Day, so all you lovers out there are out there with your girlfriends or your wives or your mistresses and doing your all's thing. But for me, I the single life chose me, or I chose a single life. I'm not for sure how that will go, but it's either or. Pick your poison. So I'm over here listening to the Transformer soundtrack theme song, I guess. So there you go. That's what's going on in my life. So I don't know if I'm gonna talk. I don't know if I'm gonna talk some movies or some sports cards or what. So I'm gonna hang on here for a few minutes and kind of go. People pop on, great. We can do some chit chat. No one pops on, then I'll probably just pop off, but not actually pop off. I did my first video I did of cars I picked up via eBay. I got it in the queue, ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So I'll probably drop that. I'm gonna drop it like it's hot tomorrow. I would assume in the morning. I filmed it. It's in the archives, in the Jason archives, and so I wasn't gonna post it tonight, but I thought, man, I'll just post it tomorrow. I got a bunch more cars coming in. I saw a meme not too long ago where it says, and it was exactly what happened to me, where you put a whole bunch of bets in, and then you end up winning them all, and you're like, oh shoot, I end up getting a little bit too crazy. I went like balls out, and I won a bunch of auctions on YouTube, on eBay over the last week and a half. I just put in like dozens and dozens, and I thought for sure I was not going to win even half of them, and I ended up winning over half of them, and I'm like, oh shoot. So they're starting to trickle in now. I got the first handful right here. I did a video. I might show them anyways on this live stream, because people a lot of times don't go back and watch the live streams, which I totally understand. I don't really watch a lot of live streams after the fact. But last night I put a bunch of bids in, or I put a bunch of bids in about a week ago, and they all were coming due last night, and they were for a ton of slabs. And thank you, Jesus, that I got outbid at the last minute, because I was winning all of them, I think, and then at the very end I got outbid. So I was like, oh my gosh, because it was like 20, 30, 40, $50 on quite a few of them, and I was like, what was I thinking? I went like so, like, just like so gung-ho. I went nuts, and like I said, just posting like just bids everywhere on dollar cards or $50 cards. It was all the in-betweens. And so anyways, I was grateful that I ended up getting outbid. Usually I would be super pissed, but I was like, oh, thank God I was outbid. I will take it. And I didn't win at the last minute on a couple of the big ones, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now, normally if I didn't win, I'd be totally fine. If I didn't win, or if I would be upset if I only bid on one or two cards, and I got lost on both. But since I bid on like literally 50 cards or more, and I started winning more and more and more, I was like, oh my gosh. So some of those big ones started coming up. Anyways, emergency diverted, so that's good. So with that being said, they're coming in now. I'm pretty excited about it. I got a mix of wrestling cards, baseball cards. I even got a couple promotional film cards. I just took a chance. I saw somebody else do that recently. Maybe it was because I'm Carlos. I can't remember who did that, but somebody who, I thought it was a great idea, because I kind of it's like a combination of both things that I love: movies and film and card collecting. So I was like, oh, this is a nice combination of both. And so I picked up a couple movie promo cards from like the 90s or early 2000s. So I have a couple of those coming in, and that might open up a whole new avenue for me to spend money on. So we'll look into see that in the future. But anyway, so Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day, guys. And never been a big fan of Valentine's Day, even when I had been married or had a girlfriend or whatever. I was just never a big fan of it, probably because I feel like it's just a cheap way or an expensive way to get dudes to spend a lot of money on their significant others. It's a Hallmark holiday. It's just, there's no holiday for dudes. No holiday for dudes that girls go and spend money on them. It's always the guys spending money on the girls. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what up, Joe? What up, my bro? I told you I'm gonna try to go live tonight. I want to keep my promise. I was on the edge. I was like contemplating, do I just want to sit on my couch and watch more wrestling? But I was like, no. Joe mentioned, hey, if you don't go on too late, I'm gonna pop on. So thank you for popping on for a second. But yeah, it's all about those heart throbs. There you go, some throbbing hearts. There'll be some other things throbbing later on, maybe for some of these guys if they're lucky. But yeah, this never been my cup of tea. I always thought like it's a racket. I still do. I'm sure it's not a popular thought for many people, but I'm very grateful that I get to dodge or dip out on Valentine's Day nowadays. So yeah, that was that. So what about you, man? Do you have any Valentine's Day plans this week or today or this coming weekend? Yeah, you have any significant others waiting for you across the great country of Canada that are pining for the days of Dr. Exclusive? See, this is a great song right here for Valentine's Day. Fleetwood Mac everywhere. This is perfect perfect song for today. Who knew I was such a romantic? I'm gonna keep on trucking here. Yeah, that's a good song. That song is so powerful. I don't know how I missed this song back when it came out in like the late '80s, I believe, but I never really knew this song existed. And then they started playing this song in a commercial here in America, and I was like, "Ooh, this song is so catchy. I like it." And now it's like on my rotation. I listen to it probably once a day, maybe more. All right, now this song. This is a '90s blast from the past. A lot of people don't know this band. I didn't know. I don't. They might have been a one-hit wonder. They may be from. I think they're from England. I bet it was a lot of slow jams. I don't know if you can hear this song or not, homie, but I'm got it turned up a bit. This song takes you. The video takes you on a journey that you're not expecting. It's kind of bumpy. You're kind of going this direction. All of a sudden, it goes like this, and you're like, "I didn't see that coming." Stay with me. Do you know this one, man? If you don't, it's okay because again, it's pretty obscure, I think. The video is interesting as well, but yeah, definitely if you can. It's called the band name is two females singing, and the group's called Shakespeare's Sister, and the song's called "Stay." I remember hearing the song on the radio, going, "Oh, it's very interesting," and then I see the video, and I'm like, "What?" Okay, let me see if I can bring it up here. Maybe you can. Maybe now. Can you hear it better now? Oh, what up, BF Golf? What up, homie? I'm telling you, watch this video, guys. You're gonna be like, what the fudge buckets? this way this one woman's dancing it cracks me up. I don't know who told her to dance like this. Maybe she thought she was cool. Guess what? She's not cool. I mean, she's actually kind of cute, but whatever she's doing here is like, if you've seen the TV show Wednesday on the special Wednesday on Netflix, the way she does that dancing during the prom, this girl was doing that kind of awkward, weird dancing goth thing before Wednesday did back in like 1995 or whatever. But she's like up on this pedestal and she's like doing this gyrating and arms swinging and whipping around, and you're like, she's licking her lips. This is weird. I'm telling you, Shakespeare's sister, stay. Afterwards, you're going to be like, I don't know if I need to stay on this video much longer. So I'm going to pick another song next here. Yeah, she did a song called Stay also. That's true. I never put that together, but you are correct. Oh, man. Did you all know that Eddie Murphy had a hit song in the 80s? Oh, man, Jeannie, what up? I figured you'd be out with your wife doing. I was gonna ask you if you want to go live tonight, but I figured you'd be out with your wife doing like husband detail. What up, man? Even though I'm Irish and Mangini's Italian, I'm gonna play this song. I don't even care. I think I'm wild and crazy. All right, so I don't know if anybody wants to pop on, so I'll go ahead and put the link in the card in the comment section. If anybody wants to pop on, no pressure, no big deal. No one wants to do it. If it lets me, that'd be great. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, Mangini's coming on. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because we got to give John Mangini our full attention. I do not want to disrespect the Mangini. So let's go here. We'll go live, and I don't know, John, I'll just talk. I mean, everyone knows I can pretty much BS regardless. So this will be a nice surprise. It never fails. Like when I try to set up an actual live stream with somebody or some people, everybody either can't do it or it's last minute, which I understand, and they have obligations or whatever, And then so I usually either don't go live or I go live by myself, and then may or may not continue. And then today when I'm like, no one's gonna want to go live. It's Valentine's Day. I'm not even bothering. I'm just going to go live. If one person hops on and hangs out with me for a little bit, great. If no one hops on, I totally get it. And then John's like, hey, send me the link. I'm just chilling. I'm like, okay, John. I don't want any trouble with your wife if you're supposed to be down there taking care of business and you're now talking to me on the interwebs. All right, especially when I'm going to come down and see you guys in a couple months. So my plan is to go see Bob in Pittsburgh next month for 4 days, 5 days, and then what up, John Mangini?
So it's my birthday and I'm all alone.
Oh, it is your birthday. That's right. Happy birthday, dude.
Thank you.
What are you like? You're like 25 now?
Yeah, I have lots of work to do, but I'm like, you know what? It's my birthday. I ain't doing it.
Oh my gosh! So it's your birthday and Valentine's Day?
Yes, sir.
And so your wife skipped out on you. Nice.
So my wife works out of town, right? So she's up in Charlotte, and my daughter, she decided to hang out with her boyfriend instead on Valentine's Day.
Man. Hey, what up, Dave? Blue Jacket 66 in the house. He said he's driving. All right, buddy, be careful. 10-2. And he just said, "Happy birthday, my friend." So there you go. You know it means something when Dave tells you happy birthday.
Thanks, Dave.
So I know you said before in previous videos, John, and let me ask you this. You said before, like on Christmases or maybe previous special events, you're like, I bought myself something for my birthday. I bought myself something for Christmas. So did you buy yourself something for your today for your birthday?
Yeah, so fourth go up yet though.
Oh, you cut out a bit. What was that?
4 relatively rare cards.
Oh, okay. You throw that word rare around a lot. What? Hold on, it's buffering on your end.
Yeah, I said we'll say scarce.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better now. Yes.
Okay.
So you said you bought yourself 4 rare cards?
Scarce. I'll call them scarce.
Scarce. Yeah, you got Dave in here, so Dave might get pissed if you keep saying rare.
Well, I'll ask him.
Oh man, so you got 4 scarce cards for your birthday, which you rightfully deserve.
I'll tell you what. Some of these more obscure issues. I mean, people just don't know them, and sometimes you can just get them so cheap. So I got the shoulder signature series, the 1922 W575-2 of Eddie Collins, sporting a suit there.
Look at him. He's a dapper dandy.
Yeah, my video, I said this is he was doing this long before Mariano Rivera on his rookie card with his street clothes.
Right, that's true. That's
yeah, but so yeah, PSA has graded 7 of these.
Wow.
And I got a W575-1 of John McGraw.
No suit wearing, but still very nice.
And I got a Hoyt. I got the W501 Hoyt.
Oh, I like that one. That's cool. I like those cards.
It's like every Hoyt card is that picture.
Yeah.
Even the 33 Gaudi is that picture painted. And then I have another great all-time great Hall of Famer coming for the shoulder series. So that's what I got myself for my birthday.
Nice. Let me ask you, I guess people like yourself and Dave, I mean, obviously you all have an expansive knowledge about, all these like rare cards or scarce cards or sets or whatever. I mean, now, are these things you've just acquired over the years of just knowledge, or is there books or magazines you stumbled upon that has a lot of these kind of issues in there? Or how does one go about finding these super hard or super rare type of cards?
Yeah, well, Dave had the good fortune of growing up in the industry and learning a lot from his dad and his dad's friends and all of that. I was, more in obscurity. So I would pretty much just talking to people at the flea market or the occasional card store and whatever books I could get my hands on.
Right.
So I have a book. I still have 2 books from my childhood. They were the only 2 baseball card books I ever found. And then, of course, I used to read Baseball Card Magazine. And then there was a magazine called Old Cardboard. And it was more obscure. I think they still have a website now, but they stopped the magazine. And Old Cardboard, man, they would show all the old issues I never knew existed. And I still have every one I ever got. I have a whole library I save like Beckett vintages over the years if they had something I wanted to save, right? And any
Sure.
magazine if they feature some set. So I have literally a whole library filled with card stuff, and then of course the standard catalog of baseball cards lists just about everything. It should be everything known, and over the
Mm-hmm.
years they've added sets in there. I actually used to talk to Bob Lemke, who was the editor of that, and I contributed a LA Dodgers team set. I checklisted it for him because it wasn't in there, and I
Nice.
reached out to him. But that book, I would just go through. I still go through it, and just anything that catches my fancy or something I haven't seen before, and I'll just do a little reading up on it. And then, of course, nowadays you can go on to PSA and read a little blurb. They don't get into grave detail, but there are other websites, and if you search things, you'll find some background on things. And sometimes I'm looking for that, or sometimes I see a card for sale and it piques my interest. I hadn't seen it, and then I'll research it. And it's the same with players. Sometimes I find a player and I want to research him to learn about him because I see a card or something. And sometimes it's the other way around. I learn about a player and then I go seeking their cards, that
Sure.
kind of thing. And sometimes you find a card and you don't know anything about it, so you start researching it and you look up the pops and you're like, "Holy cow, there aren't too many of these out there." And then
Right. That's cool.
that's the kind of thing that gets me excited.
Yeah, Dave said Cardboard Connection is very good for old card sets.
Yeah, that's the one, Dave. I couldn't remember the name of it. That's one I go on a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. So let me ask you this, because I mean, maybe Dave and Mark and a few other, Henry, whoever else is in here, Joe. Now, has there been a card that you know, or a set? That's maybe not a card, but a set that you have either heard about or you've seen either through like magazines or maybe social media, what internet, that you've always wanted to add to your collection, but it's either eluded you or maybe it's too expensive? Is there something out there that's kind of like a holy grail card that because you've always said in your videos, you want to get a card from every set that you ever have heard, you ever have known about. So is there anyone out there that you're like, I really want to grab?
I tell you, the Plowboy. It's next to impossible to find a Plowboy. It's not exactly, a set that I'm dying to have. Like I'd rather have a DeLong, Lou Gehrig.
Sure.
There are a lot of cards I'd rather have from a look standpoint and cards I always wanted, but that is a set. And as much as I look, I never even see one sale. And on quest to try to get a leader from every set, which will be a lifelong quest. And I just want to see how close I can get because I doubt I could ever do it. But that's one that I would have to get. And of course, Dave knows all about the Plow Candy. Those are oversized, very rare, and just shot up now. So those are some.
So what is
a grail card for me is any Ed Delahanty. That's a player I really want to add before I die.
You said Ed Dellingham?
No, Big Ed Delahanty. One of the greatest players ever.
It cut out on me again.
He had two brothers that played too.
And what's the name of the guy again?
Big Ed Delahanty.
Big Ed Dellingham.
Big Ed Delahanty. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Delahanty has a bunch of cards. Everybody sees him. And, man, I'm drawing a blank. Delahanty, I think, is the least talented brother, we'll say. But Big Ed Delahanty was head and shoulders above the two brothers. One of the best. He's an early player. And
you don't have any of his cards, correct?
Not from his playing days, no.
Not from his playing days.
I was watching one, very, very pricey. I almost broke down and pulled the trigger on it. It was beauty. But I did. Well, here's one for you, Jason.
What's up?
Hey, Jason, what are we doing when you come to visit in June?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm going to be there for like a week. Well, hey, I'll talk to you later, Dave. Thanks for popping in. Dave's heading out, so good. And then real quick, Mark goes, his Holy Grail. Mark said his Holy Grail card's a Hank Aaron rookie card. Yep. Who doesn't want a Hank Aaron rookie? That's totally true, Mark. I
Right.
don't blame you, dude.
Yeah, the
I
thing
think you
about Grail
I think
cards
you missed the
is
boat on the. What was that?
I was just going to say the thing about Grail cards is they change because you pick
Yeah,
up one of your Grails, then you get a new Grail, right?
right. Exactly. So you were saying, I'll be in town. Hey, what up, Rick? What up, W Vogs?
W Vogs.
What up, Rick, fellow Hoosier? So as far as man, I'm gonna be in South Carolina for a week. I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of downtime because even though my son will be playing a lot of baseball, they'll be what's the word I'm looking for? It'll only be going on during certain parts of the day. So yeah, dude. I mean, I'll probably just take the lead. I know you mentioned I was watching one of your previous videos and I kind of sent you a message, alluded to it, that there's a couple card shops, I guess, in the Myrtle Beach area, possibly.
Yep. We're definitely going.
So
They
I know I want to do it.
they have big flea markets there too.
Yeah,
I know you're more of a flea market.
yeah, I do. I love myself some flea markets and pawn shops and all that, but I won't bore you with those things.
I mean, we have a pool and a pond. Pond's probably better for you.
Right.
Did you hear me?
What did you say? You have ponds?
Caddyshack.
Oh,
I said we have a pool and a pond. The pond's probably better for you.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Oh man.
So look at this card. Can you see?
That's Matsui, isn't it? Who is that?
Yeah, but it's the Japanese version.
Yeah, the Japanese. Yep.
Version.
As soon as I saw that stance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Matsui was a hell of a ball player. I was a fan.
If he just would have came over like 5 to 8 years earlier, I think he would have had a hell of a career.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean he had like 3 or 4 really quality seasons with the Yankees, and then he had some subpar ones. But if he was able to stick it out, or got here earlier, I mean the same with Ichiro. I mean Ichiro would have broke Pete Rose's record if he would have got here earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It looks good in a black.
That does, man. That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful.
I've been reholdering some cards. That's what I did last night when I went live on Pepino's channel with W Vogs there.
Oh, W Vogs, but man, W Vogs makes the rounds. He hitting all the live streams.
Yeah, W Vogs, he'll go live. You don't even have to ask him. That was my joke whenever I did that. You remember when I did that news program or whatever? He's like, well, I didn't do anything on him, and he reached out to me. He's like, do me next. So I did.
Oh man! So I was going to ask you down in Myrtle Beach, because I know I've asked you these kind of things before about other parts, but what would you recommend as a good place to hit up as far as a good quality restaurant?
Good quality restaurant.
Yeah, somewhere you're not going to get, other parts of the state or other parts of the country. You're a cultured guy. You kind of know what it's like.
Yeah, the problem is in the modern day America. See, I've been traveling since I was a young man, a young kid. And in the old days, you'd come down south and it was the only place you could get grits. It was the only place you could get biscuits and sausage gravy. It was the only place you could get shrimp and grits. Now they serve every food everywhere, right? You can go anywhere and get these things. Because we're known for our sweet tea down here. And now you can get that up north.
Oh, really?
So as far as what you can get down here that you can't get anywhere else, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, man.
There is one thing, John.
What's that?
Sweet tea.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. They make it different down here. It's so good down here. I'll tell you what,
Zombie,
Jason, when you come to the inlet, when you come to Merle's Inlet, they're known for their hush puppies. They have the best hush puppies in the whole world.
Where?
Okay, well, you already know I'm going to be all about that, so yes.
Yeah, I'll take you to the place that has the absolute best. They're like a cross
I live
between,
in North Carolina, so I need to go see
they're almost
John
like donuts.
Day. John, I'm in Charlotte, but if I ever make it down your way, I will let you know.
Well, that's, my wife works in Charlotte. I might be living there soon.
Really? Wow. We could be connecting then.
You and W. Voss can be neighbors. He can come over and borrow some eggs from your house. Mark said, "You all have you been to Coastal Sports Cards in Myrtle Beach? Have you been there before?"
No, I have not.
Coastal
Sports Cards in Myrtle Beach.
That's the new one I just discovered. I passed it by accident.
Oh, okay.
So, Mangini, you were in there last night sleeving stuff. How much more do you have to do tonight?
Well, I have over 100,000 cards, so I can do this for days on end.
Nice.
But I lost my other.
Hey, Mark, if you're free, dude, hop on.
Oh, there it is. Got to open another package of
these.
So we were speaking about Holy Grail. This isn't a Grail, but it's a card I want eventually. I collect Jeter like crazy because I'm a Yankee fan. I want the Jeter. I think it's 2007, where he's in the dugout, and there's Mickey Mantle in the dugout, and then you have George Bush in there.
Yeah, the 96. That's like one of the top cards of the 90s for sure.
I don't even know how you knew that card existed.
Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, I love that card.
Mark, we don't care that you're
Yankee. It's a great image of Jeter, too.
Yeah, I have 4 slabs of Jeter I love. Actually, I think 5. I have 5. I think that's the most player I have a slab of. But of course, my favorite slab I own are the Mantles I showed last night on Pepino.
Yeah, Henry said Pepino went on real late last night or kept going on forever.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was Mangini, Orlando, Lou, and I. Then Lou had to dip. Then Orlando had to dip. So it was Mangini, myself, this guy named Rob, Pepino, and I. And then Pepino's phone died, and we all were talking for 20 minutes, and we're like, I think we lost everybody. We all dipped. The stream ended kept going for maybe another 10, 15 minutes, just total darkness. And then Pepino I think it just ended by itself somehow.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Pepino doesn't charge his phone. He's like, my phone's at 1%. I'm like, charge it.
That sounds about right. All right, let's see what else. I was going to ask you, Mark. Sorry, John. Mark said Lulu's is really good place to get a food.
Oh yeah, there's lots of places to get food. Lots of good places. You were asking me if there's some place you can get something you can't get home. I would say those Hush Puppies are Po' Boys.
Po' Boys. There you go.
A little unique. Shrimp and grits is something they're known for.
Wow, good dude. Mark Stowe Sports put Henry in timeout on accident.
Oh man, is this a sharp
accident?
Card?
Yeah, accident, Mark. That the power went to Mark's head. Hey, what up, Yanks fan 7? Now we got some big hitters in here.
Oh boy,
man, dude.
There goes the stream.
Exactly.
John, what are you sleeving top loading tonight? Football still?
Well, some football, some baseball. Got an Ellis Valentine autographed rookie card. I need to pay homage to the man with the cannon.
I'll be right back.
So did you, man with the cannon? So what'd you think about the Super Bowl, dude?
I'm sorry that it makes me not want to watch ever again.
What was there anything in particular?
That last call, like when the refs get that involved, you could call that on every single play. Every single play, somebody touches a guy's back. Like you could call that on you could call holding on every single play. And to call it at that time with an uncatchable ball that was not nowhere near him, and he was not impeded in any way, shape, or form. So technically, was it holding? Yes. Technically, could you call holding on every play? Yes. I mean, it's no different. You got to let them play, man. This modern game's just annoying. Too many games are decided on penalties these days, in my opinion, and it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch. When you have a 3rd and 28, and somebody gets a questionable call hitting the quarterback late or whatever, and they get an automatic first down on 3rd and 28. It's ridiculous. Whatever.
Yeah, I know, Mark. What do you think, dude? Did you watch the game at all? What were your thoughts?
Yeah,
Not that I have an opinion.
Not that you have an opinion. Not at all.
I really didn't care because I don't like either one of those teams.
Right.
So, but yeah, they could have. I mean, they could have let that call go. But even if they would let that call go, they still would have kicked a field goal and probably made it. But then the Eagles would have had time to go down and score or do something.
Right.
So it might have been a better game if they let that call go.
Who are we with? My eyesight's terrible.
Mark from Kentucky.
Mark from Kentucky,
hey Mark,
what's
my
up?
bad, it's Vaughn.
What's up?
It's
Yeah, I
Vaughn.
can't see either, so I don't know who's on.
Yeah,
Everybody.
if you can't recognize my face, I'm Vogs. You've seen
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I have.
I
So
have you
whenever
guys
I
on my
think of
phone. You're
Mangini,
like this
I
big.
think of this book.
Sweet.
Boggs, you read.
This, John, get this book. It is amazing.
What is it? I can't see it.
It's called Collecting Sports Legends, the Ultimate Hobby Guide. It talks about every sport of collecting.
Oh, yeah? That sounds like a great book.
Oh, it has, it has your boxing in it, and it has like 19, it shows like pictures of old cards like 1933 Gaudy, Nap Lajoie.
Got a Jerry Rice here.
Jerry Rice.
The second best receiver of all time.
Who's number
In
one?
my eyes, he's the second best
Don Hudson,
receiver
baby.
of all. Exactly like I told you last night. Yep, Don Hudson. Yeah, any collector, I won this on a YouTube giveaway. Get this book. It is a great read. Great read.
Well,
Jason, when you going to Myrtle Beach?
I will be in Myrtle Beach. I believe it's going to be the week going into like the 8th, 9th, and 10th of June, something like that. So like that, we're going to be there the weekend, but I think we're going to go in a couple days early. Then it's like a Thursday through Friday tournament, and then we're going to stay a day or two after. So it's basically going to be like a week-ish there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the plan.
Oh, you'll have a blast, man. There's lots to do there.
Yeah, I love North Carolina. I've always wanted to go to South Carolina. And I was like, when I found out for sure he got a tournament accepted at a tournament that part of the country, I reached out to John immediately and was like, dude, if you're free, we got to try to hang out at least once, if not a couple of times, if he's down in his other house at Myrtle Beach.
That was like cutting edge. That was very exciting when Cal Ripken put that stadium in. I have a friend who was a baseball player his whole life, and he played with another guy I ran around with who was Bus Clarkson from the Negro Leagues. He was his nephew, and he played ball his whole life. Really, they were good ball players. I played when I was younger with this friend of mine. Anyway, he coaches now, and he comes down for a tournament every year to that stadium. And it might be the one you're going to. I thought it was May, but maybe it was June.
Well, we have another team that's in the town I live in, and they're going to come down like a week or two after we are. So, I mean, I'm sure they have tournaments, like you said, they're throughout the summer and the late spring.
Oh,
I'm sure.
they kids love playing baseball in the summer.
Yeah.
You know what? He coaches older kids. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure it's
okay.
May. He comes down every May for something.
And I was going to say, if I
John,
saw him on the field, I was going to say you were talking some crap about him so we can get a fight going. But
wait, what's that?
John,
I was going to say, if I saw him on the field, I want to say, yeah, John Mangini told me to tell you to suck it, dude.
Suck it. John, do you have a Don Hudson card or no?
Yes, but I want to get
Nice.
so he doesn't have any cards from his playing days other than a Wheaties back box card, right? And I'd love to get a hold of one. They're pretty pricey, and you don't see them too often. You see like Lou Gehrig way more than you see that one.
Yeah, like I said, my friend's dad is like another dad to me. He gave me good prices on those mantle slaps.
Yeah, I love the Wheaties, but if it was a card, I would pay that. But
yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know.
Mark, you get anything cool lately?
I picked up a bunch of vintage team cards.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's the
beautiful.
Yankees from 66.
56. Okay.
That's
Nice.
from 63. That's from 62.
Nice. I need a bunch of the Yankees old team cards. I think I
There's
know someone sending me
the
one.
Pirates, 65.
Nice.
Clemente's in there.
Oh,
There's another Pirates.
Hey,
66.
John, I always forget because I'm young. What year was the We Are Family Pirates?
1979.
Thought so.
hey, Mark, you do know this Sunday's the Sunday show in Plainfield.
Is it this
That-
Sunday? I thought it was the last weekend of every
I
month.
think it's this Sunday. I thought I saw this pop up on my no, not last Sunday. So you may want to double.
It's
I might
usually
need
the
to double
last.
check.
Yeah, it's usually the last. Well, I thought it was the last weekend of every month.
You may be right. Maybe I'm full of crap. So let me look. Which wouldn't be any different, but
So when you guys go to Myrtle Beach, you got to go to that coastal cards, man. They had the best dollar deals I've ever seen.
You've been there?
Yeah, I did a video on it. I bought like 200 almost 600 cards for $270 out of the dollar box.
That's
they got these
awesome.
bags. They got these bags, and you stuff as many as you can in a bag, and it's like $15
That's
Oh,
so
wow. I
awesome.
didn't
for a
know.
bag. So
I didn't know that.
they got some pretty good deals in their dollar box.
Did you go to 707 Sports Cards while you were there?
So, is that the one down
It's
on
right
the
up
beach?
the road.
Is that the one down on the beach, or is that the old one?
No, it's the one right on Business 17. It's up the road towards Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. So that one's been there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to there. I've been to Myrtle Beach like a bunch of times, so I've hit those. I've hit that one up a bunch. That guy's
That
kind of
store
high,
is
though.
loaded with vintage.
Yeah, it is. He's a little high though, I think.
You do?
Yeah. I bought a couple things from him, nothing big, but and then there's another one down by the like right by the beach down there.
There
Dang
is.
it.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's gosh dang, because I just went last summer.
There's two cards I want to get playing day wise. 3 actually for my goals this year, and I know John, you probably own them already. I want to get a Koufax because my grandpa went to the same high school as him at one point. I want to get a Thurman Munson playing day, and I need to get a Tom Seaver playing day.
Thurman Munson should be in the Hall of Fame, man.
Yes, for real.
He'll get in eventually.
he'll get in the what's it called, the Golden Committee or something, or
Yeah, I hope
One of those
so.
committees.
yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but I
like
mean,
no offense, but how is Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame? I don't get it. Hey, we're in the studio with him now.
I'm a big Hall of Fame guy, so I don't mind him being in at all. He was a very consistent player.
What do you think about this? So Scott Rowland's in, so that kind of maybe opens the door for Evan Longoria if he keeps doing
I agree. I think it does.
If you look at their stats, man, they're pretty dang similar.
I agree.
So you think so? You think Evan Longoria really?
I think
Longoria he plays another 4 or 5 years, maybe
can sneak. I think.
Hold on, wait. Is Evan Longoria still playing?
Yeah, he plays.
Yeah.
He's on Arizona now.
Yeah,
I thought he became like a coach or something.
No, he's with the Giants last year.
He's not an everyday player, though, is he, Mark?
What? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt most of the year.
Do you guys think Joey Votto gets in the Hall of Fame when he retires?
I think so.
Do you think so, huh?
What do you think, John?
It's hard to say, man. A lot of these players, I think, could be in, but I don't know. Baseball fans, it's well, number one, they're an angry bunch of people. God forbid if you disagree with somebody that should be in the Hall of Fame, they come at you. But like I said, I'm more of a big Hall of Fame guy. But most it mostly matters total stats, So, a guy that plays 21 years, right, even if he wasn't that good, can amass a lot of stats. They can pad a lot of stats at the end of their career.
Like the scale.
Like I don't know, like Pujols moving to be DH. How many, home runs did he add in those last years?
Yeah.
And where if he retired earlier, I don't know. You see these guys that you can amass a lot of stats when you play a long time. You take Nolan Ryan, played twice as long as Sandy Koufax. So he had 7 no-hitters. Koufax had 4. 4 no-hitters in 10 years is pretty damn good. One being a perfect game. So, I don't know. I'm not a total stat guy. I'm more of nobody watches players anymore. It's like I watched some of these players that were just monsters, and that's why I think they should be in.
Right.
I'm not looking at their stats. I watched them play.
Yeah, they passed the eye test. I'm the same way. Like Dave Parker, he passed the eye test. He should be in.
Cobra.
Steve Garvey, he passed the eye test. Dale Murphy, he passed the eye test. Those guys should be in.
Yeah, that's. I'm with you, and that's why I said Thurman Munson. Anybody that watched Thurman Munson play, I don't know how they wouldn't think he should be in the Hall.
I feel as a
especially
I feel like Mattingly
young.
Yeah,
I feel like Mattingly should, but the problem was he was on really Yankee teams.
I'll tell you what, though, when Mattingly came up, his first several years, he was a beast.
Tore it up.
He was hitting in the mid 300s. Like there's no player today that hits in the mid 300s.
I think
him Boggs and Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
It was insane. That was like the resurgence of the batting average, where those guys were just having batting averages that you hadn't seen, other than Rod Carew and guys like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So, I mean, it was only Scott Rowland was the only one that got in this year, right? On the regular Hall of Fame ballot.
McGriff got one of the committees.
By the committee, okay. Yeah. So, do we know who's going to be in? Who's eligible for next year? Is there a bigger class coming, or no?
I'm trying to think. Can't even remember who's next.
So, I guess that means that Bonds and Clemens and all them fell off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They're off.
They fell off.
Oh, 2024 class. I can't even remember who's available.
Yankees fan, imagine what that's the sex CEX for the sex slab at 8.5 84 traded Mattingly rookie card would go for back in the late 80s. That's so true.
You know what?
That's so true.
NY Yanks fan 7, he'll have that all mapped out.
He sure will. Oh my God!
Tell you the exact percentage it's gone up and per year.
Mark, do you have the list in front of you? Do you have
that's awesome?
Hey, I don't see any newcomers.
I need to ask Vince though. Does he calculate the adjust for the cost of living over those years? That's what I want to know.
Just for the cost of living. Yeah, but he has a COLA. Do you put a COLA on there for the cost of living adjustments at the end?
So there's no newcomers.
Adrian Beltran, he'll get in. I don't know if he's be first ballot or not, but he's eligible next year. Joe Mauer's eligible next year. Chase Utley, David Wright, Bartolo Colon.
I'll tell you, Chase Utley, man, he was fun to watch. When I stopped watching baseball for a while, and when I started watching again, he was one of the players I really noticed. He's a scrappy player. He reminded me. Hitting wise, just the scrappiness and everything. He reminded me of Norm Cash. He was that kind of a hitter, where he was just scrappy, tough guy. In fact, he never wore a batting helmet.
Cash never did.
Yeah, I was watching this old All-Star game, and it was in the early '70s, and he was the only one not wearing a batting helmet yet. Do you guys know the last guy who did not wear a batting helmet?
Pete Rose.
No.
Mm.
I think he went up until something like 1978 or in the late 70s, I believe. He played for Boston. I think he was a backup catcher. Bob Montgomery was his name.
Bob Montgomery.
Yeah, you'll know his baseball. What's trying to think. He has one baseball card. He's down in a crouch that I could see like the back. I know it like the back of my hand, but I'm trying to place the year. I think it might have been 75 or 76.
Vince said Willie Fistergash.
What?
That
That sounds dirty.
I know. That's like one of those porn generator names.
Yeah, that's one of those prank names you call
right.
people.
So I'm going to tell you, John. I thought this was really cool that you had done this. I think you did it not too long ago, but you did a highlight video with Starling Marte, right?
Yes.
That was so awesome. I would highly recommend, if you have not seen that video, guys, watch that, because I mean, I used to watch him when he was at Indianapolis, because Indianapolis Indians are the farm system for the Pirates.
Yeah.
And he came through there for 2 or 3 years. I'm not for sure exactly. And I was going there a lot with my son when he was a lot younger. And I was thinking, no, he was nowhere near the player he turned out to be in the major leagues. I mean, he was still really good, but he obviously came into his own. But he had a little something. He was real scrappy, kind of like you were talking about before. I mean, he was hustling. He was always going for the ball. And I was just really impressed with him out there. And that was really cool that you kind of highlighted a guy that a lot of people probably wouldn't even give a second glance at. So I thought that was very cool.
Well, you know what? He is a talented ball player. I don't think he gets enough credit. He got cheated out of the National League batting title a couple of years ago because he got traded to the Oakland A's. And so he didn't qualify for the National League, but he was leading when he got traded. Could have possibly won a batting title. He's the first person to steal 20 bases in both the National League and American League in the same season.
Oh,
he has a phenomenal arm. He's a phenomenal fielder.
And where is he now?
He's with the Mets, baby.
Yeah. So my dad is a diehard Pirate fan. His mother was a diehard Pirate fan. So my dad follows all the young guys in the farm system, and he was telling me about him. He's like, we have a fielder. He's a better fielder than McCutchen. And he's coming up, and we had another guy at the time, and his name escapes me. He came up and played right field for a very short stint, and he was actually the best outfielder of the bunch, of the three of them, McCutchen, Marte. He was the best fielder, but he couldn't hit. When they brought him up, he couldn't hit. But they were all center fielders. But because they had McCutchen, they put the one in right and the one in left. So the Pirates were playing with 3 center fielders at one time. It was just a phenomenal defensive outfield. Anyway, he comes up, and I went to watch him when he came up with my dad, and the first pitch he homered.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He froze
a lot, but he's just a phenomenal fielder, really. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I forget, is Cattell related to him?
Cattell Marte?
I don't think so.
John, do you like Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, and Key Brian Hayes?
Yes. I think Brian Reynolds is a talented ball player. I loved Adam Frazier. I think Adam Frazier is a great ball player. As far as Key Brian Hayes, of course, I watched his father play. But
me too, Charlie.
He has a lot of talent. His dad played for the Pirates for a short stint.
And Phil and Yankees.
Yeah, and he played for the Phillies too, right?
Yeah, Phillies and Yankees, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I think he has a lot of talent if he stops eating sunflower seeds at third base in the middle of plays. But the way the Pirates play and trade all their players, I don't blame them. O'Neill Cruz is the tallest friggin' shortstop that's ever been on the planet.
I love O'Neill
except
Cruz.
for when Fred Munster played for the Dodgers. But I'll tell you what, Cruz, this is the thing. He can hit, man.
He's a monster.
And he's just so tall. Like I would, if I had to pitch against him, I would go low at the knees just about every pitch, because he seems to have a hard time getting down there to hit that ball. And if he can control that and learn to do that, I think he could be a really good hitter.
You know what's funny?
That's a good looking card.
I won a Panini Capstone rookie card of O'Neill Cruz.
Is that right?
Yeah, capstone. I don't know what to do with it. I may sell it or I may send it to
What
John.
is it? What's a capstone?
It's
It's a
new
Panini product. It's a
I
new
don't even
Panini
know it.
product.
It's really shiny.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah, I opened up a blaster of them last week.
Oh, just this year's the first year?
Yep.
Yep.
2022?
Yep. This year.
Or it's
22.
coming out in 23?
Yeah, no, it's a
22.
22 product.
23 Top Series 1 comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't follow these things because where I live, I can't ever find a blaster box since COVID, since everybody was going crazy. They never brought them back. The only thing I could find, the only cards they carry are WNBA and a little bit of hockey because people don't fight over those.
It was like that here too, but now you can go to Walmart and find anything now.
Yeah.
It's ball, basketball, football, whatever.
Yeah, same here
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah, they never brought it back here.
so let me ask you guys. I was watching a little bit of MLB Network the last couple of days, and there are people kind of talking about projections, and the Pirates are actually projecting to do better than the Reds, which is kind of surprising to hear people say. So what are some of your thoughts about the coming year? Like, what are your projections? Like, what do you think that? I know you're a Mets fan, obviously. You're a Pirates, I guess, fan, kind of, sort of, right now. But like, what are you all thinking about your all's teams?
I'm a Yankee fan. I'm excited. We got a good rotation. We got Rodon to help Cole, and we have Nestor. So I think we'll have a good 1, 2, 3. I'm a little nervous about our back end of the bullpen. I'm really mad at Brian Cashman because I think Aaron Boone may get fired at the end of the year, and I wouldn't blame him. I'd fire him if he doesn't get to a World Series because Cashman said, "Oh, we're gonna stick with Aaron Hicks as our left fielder." Well, dude, we have Peraza and Cabrera, Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswald Peraza. Like, come on, start the young guys. DFA Hicks. I think the Yankees are going to be really, really good this year. Like, really, really good.
What do you think, John?
All right, so I don't follow the Pirates as much. What I do know about the Pirates is if you bet $10 on them, they're such underdogs that you could probably buy Twitter if they won the World Series with the win.
I think you're probably right.
The Mets are going to be scary without DeGrom, though, I think.
We signed Verlander, and then we signed that Japanese pitcher for $75 million, who's supposed to be really good. So I think
Is he
a lot's going to depend on him.
starting in the majors? I'm guessing he is.
Yeah, he's going to be in the rotation.
Nice.
Yeah, I had Tony on JP Wisco, and he's been watching that guy, play in Japan a lot over the last couple of years, and he said he's the real deal. So hopefully,
they say
he'll translate.
Yeah, they say he's a little injury prone. That's what scares me.
Yeah, well, and especially Japanese pitchers, they leave those guys out there on the mound forever. So that's the scary thing. They don't care about pitch counts. That's for sure.
Old school baseball, man.
Yeah, they just let that arm just hang on, just let it just keep on hanging, just let it go.
Did you guys see the joke? I don't remember who tweeted. Joey, I think it was Alex Cora who said the new base. He said the new. He said the new bases look like pizza boxes. They're so big.
That's probably true. Oh, Vince said the Pirates are the Yankees farm system.
So I saw a meme. A meme the other day. It was like MLB is expanding the bases by blah blah blah, and it's a giant base. And it's a picture of Altuve this big.
Oh my gosh, that's not too far from the truth, probably.
I said that's not far from the truth. I don't like Altuve, so yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what, Altuve? Number one, Altuve's a great player. Whether you like him or not, he's a great player.
Oh, he is.
But he is he represents something that's great about baseball that not every sport can say, and that is that you don't have to be a certain size to be one of the best in baseball.
True.
He's a small little guy. He can hit for power.
I forget.
And there are other guys like that. I mean, Mookie Betts isn't too big.
History. through history of the MLB, there were a lot of small guys
Yeah,
who had
yeah.
power.
Yeah, and that's very true. I mean, look, when Prince Fielder was like, like Shamu out there, and he had a career that
I thought
lasted
that
forever.
Jason, I thought that was Bartolo Colon with
Well,
Shamu.
that got him too. But so you can be big, you can be tall, you can be short, you can be heavy, whatever. And if you get your swinger across the plate, your bat across the plate, or you get your arm, your arm doesn't give out on you. There's a spot for you on the field. It looks like.
Yeah,
So,
like if you look at the NBA, there was one short guy that ever played, Spud Webb. That was it.
Yeah, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah,
Muggsy,
I'm
yeah.
exaggerating, but
yeah,
there's not
but
too
you're
many.
right.
Yeah.
But you can count like on your
football,
hand, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, football, you have to be 6'5" or 6'6" to play quarterback. Like they don't even really consider too many guys that aren't.
Doug
right?
Flutie.
And you got to be able to
Kyler
get over
Murray.
that.
Kyler Murray's like
Doug
5'8".
Yeah, but they're
Flutie.
here and there, and they never win anything. The
Russell
short
Wilson, he's
quarterbacks.
short guy too.
Shorter, yeah.
So I mean,
Man, did he suck this year?
Yeah,
Holy
he's
cow!
terrible.
What
What are you
happened?
saying,
Was it the
Jason?
system?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They fired the head coach and picked up what's his Saints old coach? What's his name? I forgot his name.
I don't remember.
I forget his name too. Is that the one that got in trouble for headhunting?
I don't know if he got in trouble.
Jason,
No,
what were
I
you
don't think
asking?
so.
That Saints coach, he got in trouble for giving bonuses for headhunting.
Greg
Suspended a
Williams?
year.
Oh, I hated him.
Vince said
Sean
Jim
Payton. His
Mora.
name's Sean Payton.
No, you guys don't know what I'm talking about?
I know
Jim
what you're
Mora?
talking about. I know what you're talking about. Where they gave bonuses to the players for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Greg
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah. I remember. I don't think that was Sean Payton though.
What was his name? It wasn't
Greg
Williams. Was
Williams. It was Greg
that
Williams.
was the coach?
Yeah.
No, Sean Payton was the coach of the Saints.
Yeah, Peyton.
And
That's
now
what I'm talking about.
now he's with Denver.
Yeah, I didn't
Denver.
hear that.
Yeah, Denver hired him. So hopefully he turns Russell Westbrook around, Russell Wilson around.
Was Russell Wilson in a really good system before? Because Russell Wilson, he was never Mahomes or Tom Brady, but he was always very efficient, and got those last end of the game drives. And with Denver, he just did nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Well, I think I saw on the news today because it was big news in Indianapolis that they got the coach from the Philadelphia Eagles. Their offensive line coach, I think.
OC, yeah, they got. I forgot what his name is, but he's really good.
Yeah,
now that I think about it, if I had Sierra at home, I might not want to go play football either.
Yeah. So, Jason, what was your question you were going to ask a minute ago?
I don't know. I can't even remember. I'm getting too old now. Things like if I don't try to say it quick, I'll forget. But yeah. So I was going to ask you, Mark, really quick about do you feel like your Mets are going to be pretty good this year? Do you have high hopes?
Yeah, man. World Series or bust.
There you go.
I think the Mets have a pretty good team. If they just need that. They need that. I don't know that clicking or that one piece.
We need the Carrera. We need the
Carrera.
Am I the
him.
only one who thinks Pete Alonso could remake? Pete Alonso or Mike Trout can remake that Bill Kozlowski card where he's sleeveless.
Oh yeah,
Ted Kluszewski.
Yeah,
Ted Kluszewski, 1957. That's one of the greatest cards ever made.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Mike Trout, that would be fun if Trout did it or one of the big faces did it.
I'll tell you what, Pete Alonso is fun to watch. He's fun.
Do you remember who else did that with no sleeves here? Well, not recent, but in the 80s for the Reds?
No idea.
Glenn Braggs. Do you remember that, John?
I do remember Glenn Braggs.
I remember the name. I vaguely remember
He had some cannons, and he did that. He was sleeveless for a little while in Cincinnati.
But that's the only thing he was known for. That's for sure.
Well, how about that dude?
Good year with the Brewers.
Oh yeah, that's where I remember him. The Brewers.
Yeah, he came up with the Brewers and did very well for the Brewers, and then somehow ended up in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't remember him playing for Cincinnati.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Henry made a
Hey,
good point.
do you remember? He was before our time, but you'll know his cards. Walt Williams. He would always have those. He's a real big guy.
And he was like holding back like it was a sword or something.
Yeah, he would hold it like this, like a sword. Yeah.
That's awesome. But I do remember that Henry made a good point. Like I remember some posters in the '80s when I was growing up. Jose Canseco with a shirtless like uniform or sleeveless uniform, swinging the bat and things like that. You know, like a lot of times it would be like black and white or whatever. But I remember those.
I saw him when I was living in Miami. I ran into him at this
Is he obnoxious?
shopping area. He's enormous. He looks even bigger in person.
Canseco?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures. I mean, he does a lot of autograph shows now. I see a line, so he does a lot of those things. And even now, in his whatever 50s, I'm assuming like late 50s or whatever he is, like he still looks jacked.
I'll tell you what, he could still catch a ball with his skull too.
He's probably still on the juice.
I wonder if he's still friends with McGuire.
I could tell you this. Everybody could say whatever the hell they want about Canseco, but man, was he fun to watch.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm better off for having watched him play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fun to watch him play. He was
fun to watch.
Man, I had a binder.
There was a couple years there where he was he was so intimidating. He was just killing the ball.
Yeah, what was he, like 40 and 40, right? That was like one of the, he's like
first
the first guy to do it.
He was the first guy to ever do it.
Yeah, so that was always super cool. I remember that.
He was a beast.
Now, John, I was going to ask, do you ever get out to any like MLB games throughout the year with all your travels and stuff? Do you try to hit up a one or two, or?
You know, if I go to Pittsburgh in the summer, I try to hit one, but it's been a while. And I went to Tampa with Lou Rock and James, Elite Hunters, when I went down to the Tampa Card Show, and we're trying to plan something where we go either to a card show and a game, or a place that has card shops in a game, or something. We're kind of planning a road trip.
Nice.
So we will see.
Fun.
Yeah, I like to go if I'm somewhere and it's season. Absolutely.
Do you travel a lot for work?
No, I don't. That's the thing. I used to travel around. Like I remember we all got together and went to see Cleveland back in the day, because it was the only place the closest place we could go to see Ken Griffey Jr. play, because it was before the Interleague. W. Vogs, you're too young to know about that, but there didn't used to be interleague play, so we had to go to Cleveland to see Ken Griffey Jr.
Nice.
And I was at Wrigley, 4 rows back behind home plate, singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with Harry Carey. I was watching. It was when they had Bobby Bonilla, Barry Bonds, Andy Van Slyke, who I love. And the seats are so phenomenal at Wrigley. I wasn't used to that, having watched games at Three River Stadium. I was 4 rows back. Some union boss took me down there. And, man, somebody picked us up at the airport. I didn't even go through I went out a side door of the airport. I went to some union hall. It was crazy. And this guy takes us in a town car, drops us off, and he's like, when you're ready to come out, just come outside anytime. I'll be here. And like, what? Like, it's downtown Chicago, right?
Sean Mangini.
We come out of that stadium, and don't you know he's standing outside the town car like this, right outside the door. I'm like, I don't know what I'm into here in Chicago. But,
oh man,
that's hilarious.
Anyway, so we were 4 rows back, and it was like, man, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla were higher than me. That's how low those seats are. Like, you could see every pitch. You could see the slider, the curveball. It was, I was right there. It was the most amazing experience. I had never seen a ball game up that close, because I at Three Rivers Stadium. I had a guy that worked for the Pirates.
Mm-hmm. So
he's like, you ever need anything, you let me know. I'll hook you up, right? So I had a blind date one time. So I'm like, I called him. I'm like, hey, I'm going to take her to a ball game, right? So we get there, and I set my drink. I was the first row behind home plate, and they have the dugout around there, and my drink was on the dugout. The guy who was clocking was like 4 rows behind me, clocking over my shoulder. That's how close we were.
Damn.
But it's just at Three River Stadium, nothing like Wrigley, right? Wrigley's like watching a high school game.
Have you gone to spring training? I've never gone, and that's one of my.
Yeah, I went one year. I have a ball with a bunch of guys, and one of my favorite Pirates at the time was Tim Wakefield, and I asked him to sign
Wakefield. I love Wakefield.
I asked him to sign it where he holds his knuckler. So he did. It's awesome. It's one of my most cherished.
As a Yankee
signatures.
fan, I went to a golf tournament in Connecticut. I actually got to meet Wakefield. Wakefield was really nice.
Yeah. So when I went to spring training, I hadn't thrown a baseball in years, right? So I go, and one of my favorite players is Andy Van Slyke. He's just a great outfielder. And so somebody overthrows him. He's in center field, and the ball comes out on the other side of right field, and it's just me standing there, right? The ball comes to my feet. I pick it up, and he holds his glove out like this in center field, and I'm on the other side, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I haven't thrown a ball in so long. I'm just praying I don't embarrass myself. And man, I wound up. I hit him right in the chest with it.
Nice.
I was like, yes.
Yes.
I didn't want to pull a Dr. Fauci.
Team, Andy.
That's awesome.
I went to spring training once.
Just throwing a ball to one of the guys you idolize growing up is nice.
For sure.
Fun. Imagine if I could have got to throw a baseball to Roberto Clemente. That would have been amazing.
Even if it was a Fauci throw, it would have been awesome.
Dude, John, how many more Clemente cards / other things do you have than Lou? I'm probably a lot more.
Oh, I have a lot more class than Lou. I don't know about cards.
Shots fired.
Lou's my younger brother.
Yeah. So
Lou's a good dude.
Yeah, Mark. So you were saying that you went to a spring training game as well?
Yeah, one of my best friends at the time. He's a big Dodgers fan, so we went to Vero Beach when they had the Dodgers spring training in Vero Beach. It was called Dodger Town. So as soon as we walk into the gates, I see Manny Mota riding a bicycle from one field to the other. It was just so cool to see all these players in Dodger uniforms all over the place, walking from field to field. And the first thing we see is Manny Mota riding a bicycle right down the path.
Now cool. Manny Mota had his best years with the Pirates. Come on.
Yeah. He was in a Dodger uniform that day. I guess he was a coach or something. But that was a good experience. It was fun.
Yeah,
Manny Mota. I would always collect him growing up. I would collect all the Pirates. I didn't care. Ducky Schofield, Bill Verdon, Bob Skinner, Vernon Law, Bob Friend.
You got them all.
My man Frank Thomas.
Did you ever collect Dale Berra?
No, I never. I have Dale Berra cards, yeah, but he was a terrible ball player, man. It was a shame.
Isn't that Yogi Berra's son?
Yogi's son.
Yeah, and he had a real bad cocaine problem too, on top of being bad. Unless that just contributed to him being bad, but he was not a very talented ball player, and we were all rooting for him, man. Yogi Berra's son's coming up. I remember when he came up, but he wasn't very good. He was a shortstop after Frank Tavares.
How long was he there before he left?
He played a number of years. He came up. He was a rookie on the 79 World Series team, and he I believe that was his rookie season. Yeah, I'm sure of it. And then he started at shortstop for a while, but he was he wasn't very good. I think they might even put him at third for a short stint, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was there all the way to 1985. I remember seeing his 85 Topps card in my head.
Yeah, I'm sure he was on that 79 team. He was a rookie that year. I'm
trying to think who else was.
I don't know if somebody can check it.
So let me ask you, John, real quick. Since you talked about Andy Van Slyke and things, do you have like a specific Andy Van Slyke moment, either live or something you saw on TV that really, that you really hold dear, that you thought was like a really cool moment from Van Slyke his playing days?
I mean, he made so many great catches. I don't have one that stands out specifically. He was just man, just a solid outfielder. He made lots of great catches, and he was a solid hitter too. He would catch fire when we had Bonds and Bonilla and him in the middle of the lineup. That was an exciting lineup. Nate from Tops 85 401 gave me this recently from
Nice.
the 91 championship. Those were some good teams, but they didn't have a closer. Otherwise, they would have won 3 World Series or at least gone to 3. They had no closer. They had Stan Belinda, and if he came in, we lost. So they couldn't hold anybody. So when we played the Braves in those championship games, man, I watched like every minute. When I was at work, I listened to it on the radio. The games would be 9-8, 8-7, 7-6. They were all high scoring because we couldn't hold anybody, but we could score. And so that's why if you ever watch that Doug Drabeck performance in the championship game, the last game, and his arm's falling off, and he's still out there because we didn't have a closer. He was trying to finish it off. He was pitching a great game, and it's one of the most magical performances, one of the most gutsy performances I've ever seen. And man, I just have so much respect for my man Doug Drabeck. Clemente Collector sent me this.
Oh, nice.
And because of that game, and he went down to the wire, and his arm was falling off. He had nothing left, and there were 2 outs, and then we ended up losing.
Do you have a favorite Willie Stargell or Dave Parker moment?
My favorite Willie Stargell moment is when I got hitting lessons from him. Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Dave Parker, I have a great memory of him. I have 2 funny memories of him, because as much as I think he was a great player and belongs in the Hall of Fame, he did a couple flubs that are just they should be on every highlight reel. One is the Reds had a pitcher, I think it was Pedro Borbon, I think is who it was, who used to throw the bloop ball.
That was him.
Yeah. And he threw the bloop ball against Dave Parker, and he wound up like he was going to hit that into the next town, and swung and missed it. Never touched the ball. It was hilarious. And then one time in the outfield, what he used to do is he used to hot dog it a little bit, because he was like the Muhammad Ali of baseball. And he would catch the ball and flip his glove like this when he would catch it. And he used to make us a nervous wreck because he would do it every time. But he never dropped the ball. Well, one day he comes up and he does that real nonchalant, and the ball goes flying back to the wall. He instead of an out, it ended up being like a
Why
triple.
would you go like this? That is so weird.
That's how he would catch the ball. He would literally snag it like this. So yeah, that was one. And then there was another funny moment. The first time I ever saw the Mad Hungarian, I was a little kid. Yeah, and he was so intimidating when you're a little kid, right? He would get behind the mound and he would throw that ball and turn around, spin around and throw it. And so to me, he was very intimidating. I was a little kid. It was either the first or second game I had ever gone to. And he gets up there and he strikes out the first 2 batters. And here comes Dave Parker. And he gets back there. He does his meditation. He fires that ball. He turns around. He throws it. And that ball still has not come down. Dave Parker hit that so far into the upper deck of right field on the first pitch. And after that, I didn't think Al Hrabosky was so intimidating anymore.
Did you guys ever hear the Jack Morris story during his Hall of Fame speech? So he was in Fenway his rookie year, throws a pitch, ball 1, ball 2, strike 1, strike 2, ball 3, throws it. He's like, oh, I'm going to just throw it down the middle, see what happens. Throws it down the middle. Carl Yastrzemski hits it off Fenway, the wall, the big tall wall, gets a double. The umpire goes to Jack Morris, said, are you the rookie Jack Morris? And he said, yes, sir, I am. And he's like, well, that's Carl Yastrzemski. He's like a few hits away from Cooperstown. Welcome to the major leagues.
That's awesome. That is cool.
I have another funny Willie Stargell story. Mark, you might know. Do you remember when the umpires went on strike in like the early 80s?
Yep. I remember.
Do you know what year that was?
Was it 80? Was it 82?
Could have
80
been.
eh,
I figured it was between 80 and 83.
Yeah,
somewhere in
I
there.
think it was 82. And 81,
Okay,
the
so
players had to strike, wasn't it?
No, the players were playing, but the umpires were striking.
Well, I know,
So they brought.
Yeah, I know. I think 81 the players strike, and I think 82 the umpires strike.
Oh, okay. So they bring in scabs. So they bring in these scab umpires, right? So Willie Stargell was up at the plate. He takes this huge swing at a ball and never touches it, misses it, and the umpire called it a ball. And Willie Stargell turned around and looked at the umpire like, "Are you crazy?" And the umpire did not overturn it. He left it a ball. Everybody was screaming and yelling. It was so ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Because that's the one thing about baseball umpires, it's not good. Even when they know they're wrong, they will not overturn their call. And it's ridiculous. So now we have replay, but back then you didn't.
Oh man! So how do you think that's going to factor in? Are we? Is that still the thing going? Is that is a part of the game now? Right?
We're gonna have robo umps eventually.
They're gonna they're gonna test those robo umps in the minor leagues this year.
So
it's gonna be all AI, right?
Yeah.
Wait till it gets hacked.
Right.
Hey, all I could tell you is it's going to be artificial intelligence for our umpires and artificial intelligence for our card grading too.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, come on, guys, these are cards.
Wait, whose card was
these
that?
These are cards.
John, who was that card of you were just holding?
Oh, Ty Cobb.
Was that the one you did a video today?
Yes.
I need to watch it.
So I know, John, that I've got caught up on all your videos now. I was surprised that you've went a while now without doing a rant video. I'm kind of feeling like there needs to be a rant video coming up soon.
You know what, Zombie Man? I'm going to leave that to you because you do way better rants than me, and I quite honestly, the hobby has calmed down, so I haven't been getting triggered. And then on top of that, I've turned over a new leaf. I stopped watching the news. I stopped getting on Facebook, and I just have come to terms with the fact that I don't understand a damn thing that happens in the world anymore. I don't understand a damn thing that happens in the card community anymore, and I'm not going to try anymore.
Have you ever watched any
I'm
of my videos,
much more at peace with myself.
That's nice.
Have you ever watched any of my videos?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Wait, you have a channel?
I think so.
I'll tell you what. I don't comment as much as I should because I watch them on my TV and I can't comment most of the time. Most of the time.
Nice.
And that's how I am too. I have to make a conscious effort to like put people, make a comment because I watch a lot on my TV. But sometimes I'll have my phone next to me whenever a video hits me a certain way, so I can at least like, hey, watch the video or make a little comment. But I'm the same way because I work from home a lot of times, so it's just easier for me to have it on the background while I'm working.
Right, so, I'm the same way. I work from home, so
did you say that did you say that your area is moving to Pittsburgh, like where you're going to oversee moving forward?
Yeah, well, that's where my work is in Pennsylvania and Ohio now.
Okay.
It's not Pittsburgh. So I do have Pittsburgh, but
but you don't travel for it though, right? You can just work from home, correct?
That's correct.
Well, I know that I'm going to try to talk Mark into traveling up to Indiana again to go hit another card show here, hopefully the next couple of weeks or whatever.
I do have to go up to Pittsburgh in March. There's an event that I'm going to go up for.
Do you know when? When you're going?
I don't know. It's like the first week in March. I don't know how long, like what kind of availability I'm going to have though.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be there the following week. So even if you were there and you were available, I think I'd probably.
When are you going?
I think I'm going to be there like March, around like the 14th through the 18th or the 20th.
Yeah, I'll be gone by then.
What are you going for, Jason?
Hang out with Bob Lewis.
Nice.
Bob Lewis. Are you guys gonna eat some cereal?
Yeah, we're gonna eat some cereal. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I'm looking forward to going to Fiore's. That's where I'm looking forward to going. I'm hitting up that place. It's so good.
When we went to the National, he would walk around eating that cereal. It's hilarious. And somebody made I think the neighbors. We had these these women, and there was one guy and a couple women, and they had the Airbnb next to us, and one of them made Jello shots, and she comes over we had this big fence, and she's like handing them over the fence to us, and so we had this whole refrigerator filled with Jello shots.
Oh, jeez. Y'all were
Yeah.
getting sloshed on some Jello shots.
Uh,
That's white girl wasted right there.
you know
Who
what?
was
I'm
the-
sorry. What happens at the National stays at the National. I shouldn't have said
Yeah.
that.
I can't. I told the guys I can't wait to go to the National to meet you guys and others.
Are you going to be there, Mark, this year? Are you
I
gonna
don't
go?
know. It depends on when I take my vacation, like my family vacation. Because usually we take family vacation in July, and it's hard to take another week in July. So it's hard to be off 2 weeks in 1 month. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're going to be there, right, John?
I don't know yet. But if Vogs goes, I might have to, because I gotta show the young lad around. I gotta teach him the ways.
Hey, at least I'm a young lad who has vintage cards.
That's true.
Gotta take him under my wing.
All right.
The last
I
one was
love
in
that. That's
Chicago.
the
You know,
goal.
baseball fanatic 12. He calls me sensei.
Sensei, you are
Isn't
Because
that like a
I
kid?
always, yeah, I met him down in Tampa. I just fell in love with him. He's
Oh
such a
wait,
nice
is that
kid,
junior
and his
baseball
family too.
fanatic Liam?
Yes. So
Good
it's
kid.
such a nice
He's
kid.
a
So
good kid.
I would grill him on baseball facts and stuff. He'd buy a card, and I'd start asking him about the player, and he's like,
He's a good kid.
How old is
Yeah.
this
So
kid?
now he's been reading up and studying.
I think
And,
he's like
man,
he's a young kid.
yeah, but he's way probably ahead of me at that age at this point now. So I don't know, maybe not though, because I was a baseball fanatic back then and had all kind of cards. But anyway, yeah, he did a video where he picked up a Tommy Leach, and I was like, no way! Like, what kid would have picked up a Tommy Leach? You know, Tommy Leach was an outfielder for the Pirates. He had a double in the first World Series and subsequently scored the first run in World Series history. And he led the league in home runs that year, despite being like 5'7" or 5'8". He was a short guy, a small guy. But he was a really good early baseball player. But, you know, I'm sure most adult collectors don't know him.
That's awesome. I didn't know who he was just till
I
now.
didn't know
There
him.
you go.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you said, Mark, for you may or may not depend on your schedule, correct? It's in Chicago. Is it in Chicago this year?
It's in Chicago this year, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's the closest one for me. So if I go, it'll be definitely this year. So I'm gonna. I think
Would
I
you
should be able to
drive?
make it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not. Yeah, he would drive.
Yeah, I'll
It's not
drive.
far.
Yeah, Chicago from my house is probably 4 hours, if not 3.5.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
like
good. You can
5.5,
come pick me
6
up.
for mine.
If you come pick me up, I'll go.
Yeah, why don't you go, W Vogs? You pick them up, and then you meet me in Indiana. I'll do rest of the drive. I'll
he
drive us
would
all
take.
there.
No. He would pick me up because then he would go up.
Oh, that's how it works. Okay, dang. Well, Mark can come by, and I'll drive the rest of the way. Also, you can leave your wife and daughter at my house, then we can just go hang out.
Mark,
There you go.
do you live in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you. There's a card store in Kentucky. I know a guy who runs it. I've never met him. My friends know him because he used to live in North Carolina. His name is Jimmy. Kentucky basketball cards.
Is that the guy?
It's called like the Kentucky Road Show. Uh-oh.
I think he froze up. Talking about Kentucky.
Yeah, it was. I think you're talking about the guy in Lexington. I haven't been to the shop. I think I know who you're talking about.
What part of Kentucky do you live in?
I am 45 minutes south of Louisville, so I'm.
Okay.
Where I work, the dealership where I work at, you can almost throw a rock and hit Fort Knox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You and James Bond.
The gold vault. You can go 2 miles down the road from my dealership and see the gold vault on the right hand side. Yeah.
Wow. I had a place we had to live in Cincinnati for a while, and I tell everybody the best part of Cincinnati is Kentucky. That's where you have to go to Kentucky to have fun. because
That's true.
they ban everything in Ohio. Like the liquor is way more expensive. If you wanted to go to a bar and smoke, you had to go to Kentucky to do it. They have all the jazz clubs there. It's nice right over there in Covington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Covington's nice. Yeah.
And I used to drive through there. So coming from Myrtle Beach to Cincinnati, I used to make that drive all the time because I'd go back and forth. And man, coming up through Asheville on that 26, that road is just awesome. It's up a mountain, windy roads, but they're in good shape. And if you have a sports car, man, it is so much fun to drive.
Yeah, on the way to Myrtle Beach, we're from here, we're all over those mountain roads. Getting there. Hey, I have a joke, Jason. What's the best thing about Indiana?
Oh God. What?
65 South.
I was gonna say, what's the best part of Kentucky? What is it? What's the best view of Kentucky? From the rear view mirror? Is that how it goes?
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know what's so funny is because when I'm from Southern Indiana, which is right on the border, of course, for people who don't know, of Kentucky. And when you're down there, there's so much Indiana versus Kentucky everything, right? Like everybody dogs on each other's states. But now that I live up in north central Indiana, up past Indianapolis on the north side, close to Ohio, you never hear it. Like no one ever talks about Kentucky. It's like Kentucky is like in the furthest reaches of people's minds. Like no one gives a crap. It's so funny depending on what part of the state you live in. So I don't know. I know for you, John, isn't that true? Like if you're in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of jokes about West Virginia.
Yeah, and I think they use those for other states if you're elsewhere. But the West Virginia jokes, it's like, how can you tell a West Virginia wedding?
How's that?
Everybody sits on the same side of the church. Did you know that the toothbrush was invented in West Virginia?
No.
Yeah, well, if it was invented anywhere else, it would have been called the teeth brush. What's a West Virginia mating call?
What's that?
Hey, sis, are you up? Did you hear they found a new use for sheep in West Virginia?
Oh, is that right?
Wool. Okay, those are the West Virginia jokes.
John, I'm actually
and they're just jokes. I actually spent tons of time in West Virginia. I love it there.
Yeah.
John, I'm actually going near your neck of the woods in like the second week of second week of April because I'm going to the RBC Heritage Golf Tournament.
Oh, nice. Hey, Vox, I got a joke for you.
Oh God! Yeah.
What did Donald Duck say to the prostitute?
What?
Put it on my bill.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh my gosh! Hey, by the way, 3D 80s kids said happy birthday, John.
Thank you.
Yes, happy birthday.
I appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
John,
what did the wife get you?
You know, we're to the point now where we really don't get each other anything. I just buy what I want. So I bought four. I bought four rare baseball cards for myself.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear what these are.
Now, John, let's be honest. Does that really work for you on her birthday? Do you go, babe, you just get whatever you want, don't even bother asking me? Or does she expect you to show up with something?
No, my wife is not like that into gifts. So what she does, like for Christmas, she'll come home and she'll be like, "Oh, you should see what you got me," and she'll buy these things and then she wraps them, and then we go to my parents' house and we all exchange gifts, and she wraps all the gifts from me that she picked out herself and wrapped. So then she's like, "Oh, you did good," and "Oh, I can't believe you got me this. I wanted this." And then that's it. And then I'll buy myself something. What we used to do, when we were younger, we didn't have a lot of money. Is we used to buy a bunch of gifts, right? And we're like, this is stupid. Like we don't have that much money and we need things, right? So if we needed a washer and dryer, we're like, let's just together, that's going to be our Christmas gift, right? And we do that. It's not very sexy or romantic, but that's just
It's
how we are.
practical.
So, John, what cards did you get yourself? Can you spoil?
Well, you're
or
going to
no?
have to watch my videos, man.
Ooh.
Put you on notice. Watch the video.
I showed one. Actually, I showed 3 of them on the beginning of this.
Yeah, you did.
But I've only shown one on a video so far tonight, the one I made tonight. And I was going to show the other 2, and then I have one coming in the mail that may be the best one of the bunch. So I'm waiting on that one. But I found these 4 cards, and Mark, I don't know about you, but man, if you collect things that are a little more obscure, the rarer issues, all these people fighting for cards and flipping and jacking the prices way up, they're not there because they don't know about these things. They're like off the radar.
Right.
And I mean, I'm getting cards that have a PSA pop of 7 for, oh my God, like less than a Verlander rookie card. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, I know, Mark. Do you still, Mark? I've been trying to get caught up on your channel. Are you still doing your series, kind of like what John's alluding to, like finding good deals and not trying to chase the stuff that everybody's chasing, like where you were like looking for like the top 8 cards of the '80s or the top, you have like $100 bill and trying to find the rookie cards or of like the best first baseman or whatever you were doing.
Yeah, I haven't done $100 budget video in a while because prices got crazy. What I was doing back then is like my first ever video. I did $100 budget, 10 graded rookie cards from the 1980s, and I was at about 10, and all of the grades were 8 or better, and they were like Tony Gwynn's, Ryan Sandberg's, Dwight Gooden, Roger Clemens, all for like $10 shipped, but you can't find them like that anymore.
No, you were on the you're definitely on the curve on that one. Get in there before everybody was, making everything nuts. So
yeah.
I have to say this from my experience in life. When everybody's going right, go left. When these things got crazy, I started to collect other things, and a lot of the other things I collected, then they started going up later, and then I had to find something else to collect. And Jason, I started to buy Japanese cards because I was like, I ain't paying these prices for these cards. It's like when nobody wanted any tech stocks last year, that's what I was buying them. When everybody was jumping into Bitcoin, like you got to be careful when everybody's doing something because eventually it goes the opposite way.
Right.
It's like when nobody wants stocks, when nobody wants them, that's when you should buy them.
Like right
that's
now,
when you make a killing. You have to wait a while, but that's when you want to buy them. Not when
patience.
everybody wants stocks. Because when I remember in the around 2009 or 9, when oil hit $145 a barrel.
Wow.
And a guy came into my office and he's like, if you want to retire, invest in oil. And so what did I do? I shorted oil 5 minutes later because when your average Joe who's never bought a stock or invested in his life thinks that means there's no one left to buy. And you know that it went down to $30 a barrel in like a month. Literally the next day started going down. I swear to God, it was insane. And it was down $10 a day, $20 a day, $5 a day. It just kept plummeting.
He probably looked on his computer in the office, and the guy's like, "What are you laughing at?" "Oh, nothing. Just your failure."
Yeah, I mean, it's not a knock on anybody, but if you go and your waitress is telling you to buy this stock, or you're just at a random meeting with somebody that's not into it, and they're telling, that means there's nobody left to buy it, right?
Right.
That's scary territory. And I'll tell you a story, and a lot of people don't know this, is that John F. Kennedy's father, he was heavily invested in the stock market in 1929 before the initial crash. And he'll tell you that he told the story that he went to get his shoe shined, and his shoe shine guy was giving him stock tips. And he went back and pulled all his money out right before the market crash because he said, when you have your shoe shine guy giving you stock tips, it's time to get out, right? And he was right. There's nobody left to buy when that happens. And I've seen it over and over and over again.
Man, John, didn't JFK's dad have like a run-in with like trouble in the law and stuff?
I don't know. There were some sort of bootlegging allegations or whatever, but I'm not an expert on him.
Yeah.
That's probably where he made
mobbed
his
up.
initial money. But here's the thing, like to go back to that stock market crash, what people don't realize is, do you know that market recovered almost fully immediately after the initial crash? Did you know that? Because they don't teach us this. It took about 3 years for it to bottom out and create like during the Great Depression. There was actually a series of missteps by the U.S. government that aided it. One, they put 100% tariffs on overseas products, and then the other overseas they counteracted and drove the price of everything up, and then they added taxes to everybody on top of that. So you had inflation, increased taxes, and just got out of hand. But people don't realize it took 3 years for that stock market to bottom. It was not a single day event. It was a bad crash, but then it came right back before it crashed again.
Yeah. I remember, I'm not good with stocks and crap like that, but I remember in 2009, my dad was working for Wells Fargo. This is before the financial crisis of 2009. My dad left Wells Fargo like for another bank. He knew so many friends of his who lost their jobs.
Yeah. The problem with the Great Depression is they didn't have banks weren't insured by the federal government, so they took people's money, invested it in the stock market, and when they lost it, everybody came to get their money because it was bad times, and they didn't have it, and the bank literally took their money. The banks, they lost everything, and that's what caused the Great Depression.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I got it. It's something that's you don't really hear about too much in America anymore. But when I was living in Japan, it's something that maybe some people find interesting because they obviously have a lot longer living people there than we have as Americans who experienced it. So my ex-wife, her grandparents were alive during the entire Great Depression. It hit everywhere, right? Like America doesn't think about this. But it didn't hit just America; it hit the world. The whole world was affected by this. Okay, so her grandparents remember what it was like to live during the Great Depression throughout the 30s. The 20s and 30s, whatnot there, and the complete devastation. Her grandparents still to this day never put money back into a bank because of what happened to their families. Yep. And so whenever we'd go and visit her grandmother, specifically her grandmother, she would shuffle off into a side room somewhere, and she would come back like it was like the Yakuza or some kind of gangster and give us an envelope filled with like $1,000 bills from her back room because she would rather keep the money with her than lose it in the bank.
My grandmother was the same way. Anybody that lived through the Great Depression, they didn't trust banks, right? Because they lost everything.
Yeah,
that was part of the New Deal is that these banks are now insured up to 100,000. So if you have over 100,000, you should keep them in separate banks.
Is that the FICA? Is it FICA?
Yeah, that's not FICA. What's it called?
FDIC.
Yeah, they're insured up to 100,000.
So Mark, you better move all your money around then.
Even if you have more money, I mean, 100,000. Well, you're not going to be on the street like during the Great Depression, right?
Speaking of money,
unless inflation keeps going up.
Right.
So I was reading this Sports Illustrated article months ago. This guy in Colorado was trying to pay off his bank loans. I don't remember how much it was. So he goes to the bank and he has 52 mantles, gives them to the bank teller, bankers, whatever, pay off his loans. They come back to him and he says, they're like, "You're under arrest. These are fraudulent."
No way.
What's his name? Dave Berg?
No idea, but I was like, damn.
That was James, Elite Hunters. He's trying to move that Mickey Mantle card.
Exactly. That
I knew
got
it was
caught.
James.
So, hey, Mark, I was going to ask you. You and I have spoke obviously off and on quite a bit, over the last couple years. Is the dealership, cars still doing really good business for you guys?
Dude,
or things slowed down?
No, I'm slammed, dude. I'm slammed.
Man, so it's just like every day when you come home, does your wife get the pool full of money ready? So when you just jump off the diving board, end up just a bunch of cash and swim around?
Yeah, no. I mean,
Scrooge McMark.
We've I mean, and it's not every dealership, and we're just very fortunate, and our county is booming down here because Ford building a big, huge factory for the batteries for the electric cars. That's like right down the road from the house. This place is going to be huge. You're going to have like stop signs and roads inside this factory. It's so big. And then a big steel mill was just opened up in Meade County. So, and then they announced because of this one battery company forming here, there's going to be other small factories pop up to help support that. So our county's booming. So,
hey, can I ask you what the steel company is?
It's, Nucor.
Nucor. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big company.
Yeah. They, so for around here, man, they start at like 60 grand a year in Kentucky where I'm, that's huge money, because it costs of living here. So like really cheap,
Yeah.
but 60 grand a year, you can live real nice, especially, we're in my little county here.
That's how it is in Murrells Inlet. Jason, you'll see when you come. I just love living there. Everything is so cheap. It's unbelievable.
Murrells Inlet is gorgeous.
What were you saying, John?
He's talking about Murrells Inlet.
Yeah, say it again.
About the cost of living there. It's real nice, real nice.
So,
and they have such low taxes. I have a 4-bedroom on a golf course there, and this year they raised my taxes $200, and I was upset. They went from $700 a year to $900 a year.
Holy crap! Is it that cheap? Really?
It's that cheap. So if you are retired, they cap it at like $365 a year, no matter how big your house is.
Wow. So I know where I'm moving to when I retire. Now it sounds like.
And we also have South Carolina. We're amongst the lowest in gas every year.
Oh yeah.
Gas prices.
Yeah, gas prices are good here too.
I know people who drive from Charlotte to Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is like, Jason, it's like how many minutes? Like 20, 30 minutes just to get gas because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the government, the state, they just sent us all $800 refund this year because they had an overage from our taxes. They sent everybody an $800 check out of the blue. I couldn't believe it. Like, what state can you live in where you get a tax refund? Like, all they do is just keep adding taxes. Everything you have gets taxed, right? I was shocked.
So did you use that money for some cards?
I don't know what I used that money for. It just went into the pile with the rest of it.
It went in.
I'm not going to lie. I probably used some for cards.
Yeah.
But I went through a little spell right before I got this money where every time I turned around, I owed thousands for something. It was like, it was ridiculous. Like my air conditioning went out. That was like $1,500. I get hit with some other taxes for property in Charleston. Charleston's not like Murrells Inlet. And it was like $3,000 in taxes on new cars I had to buy. My wife worked at Volvo, at the Volvo plant here, so she was in the car business too, and she had a free car. She was an executive there, so they gave her a car, and they have a program where you can lease people cars for like $315 a month, and it includes insurance, right?
Oh wow!
So I have a teenage daughter. That's a no-brainer, right? Are you going to buy a car and pay insurance, or for $315 So I had her a car, and then I take care of my parents. So I had I take care of my mom's car, and so I got a lease program for her. So what's my wife do? She gets a new job, and I bought 4 cars in one day.
Oh man.
Oh my
4
god.
cars in one day. And so what happens? Because I'm in more of I'm just going to say it. Charleston's more of a liberal area, and so they
It
like to
is.
tax you. I didn't even pull out of the damn parking lot, and I got over $3,000 in property taxes. When you live up in the other area, they wait. You don't know it for the next year. But here, they hit me right away, and then a few months later, hit me again for the next year. So I literally paid like $5,000 in car taxes in 10 months, 9 months,
Oh my
something like
gosh.
that. I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah. So, but in South Carolina, is the most you pay for sales tax on a vehicle like $500?
It was $350, I believe.
Yeah, because it's so like
No, they don't pay. Yeah, they don't. The sales tax is next to nothing, which
yeah,
is awesome.
yeah.
And they have a property tax on your car, boat, motorcycle. But I have to tell you that even like it's you still make out, because when I lived in Pennsylvania, I had to pay 6% up front on a car.
Yeah,
Well, if
that's
you're
the way it
buying a
is here.
$60,000, $70,000 car,
Yeah,
that's a lot of freaking money.
that's the way it is here. But when you
And the car taxes, like if you bought a $70,000 car, they would be around $700 or $800 to start. But then the next year they're 600, and the next year they're 500, and the next year they're 400. And you can put in, if they have high miles, you can even put in for a discount. You know, if they're more miles than they should be. You know, if you're somebody that drives a lot. So it's very fair. It's very fair up in the other area. But here in Charleston, they're pretty high. They're a lot higher.
Well, you need to make sure you talk to Nikki Haley since she's running for president now to hook you up.
You know, I mean, I liked her when she was governor. I really did. I thought she was very fair. You know, they had the whole rebel flag issue, and I thought she handled that very well. You know, I like her. I was sorry to see her leave as governor to go work in the Trump administration. I wanted her to stay as governor.
But well, guys, we've been going almost 2 hours. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's almost it's 10 a little bit, almost 10:40 right now. But I appreciate you all. I went on here thinking I was going to be talking with no one and just by myself. And so I really appreciate you, John and Mark and W Vogs and everybody that hung out here in the chat. So we'll have to do this again sometime. But yeah, I'll talk to each one of you individually later on. Maybe try to set some stuff up for the future.
All right, Jason. Thanks for hosting. Sorry I crashed your party.
No, man. Happy birthday again. I'm glad you 26.
Hey, what,
never looked better.
Did they just leave us all of a sudden? I didn't
Well,
even get a chance to say goodbye.
W Vox's camera went black, so I thought he left or he fell asleep or something. I don't know. And then Mark just said, "Okay, man, I'm good." He didn't need the pleasantries. He was like, "I'm done." I'm out. All right, man.
People from Kentucky don't mess around, man.
Yeah, he just like
all right.
time. We'll talk to you later, John. Thank you, sir.
See you, Jason.
Bye, buddy.